So maybe you have been feeling like God has denied you something, or maybe He closed a certain door for you. And you might be asking yourself, why did God do this? I want you to understand that there is a reason why everything happens. Sometimes there are things that happen in your life which you never purposed and they did not go your way, but God allowed them to happen to protect you and to preserve you and to keep you, basically. So some of the things that are happening, they are happening for your good. So that's why I want to tell you a story from the Bible in the book of 1 Samuel chapter 27, 28 and 29. It's the story of David. This time David was running from Saul, and it was not a good season for David. Things were not happening the way he thought. He had been anointed to be king, and now he's running away from Saul because Saul wants to kill him. So the first verse in chapter 27 says, surely I will die by the hand of Saul. So what happens? He goes to the land of the Philistines, to the enemy of Israel, and he becomes allies with them. And the king of the Philistines, whose name is Achish, loves him, and he embraces him, and he stays with him for 3 years. And even David fights for his battles, and they won, and he loves David, even promotes David. He says even you will be among the guards, the captain, the guardians of the army. So David is excited, things are going well. And then a time comes that now the Philistines want to go and attack Israel. Now remember, this time Saul is the king of Israel. We also have Jonathan, we have Israel, all these. So the king of the Philistines, where David is, wants to go and attack Israel. Now the king told David, now because you have been fighting my battles, you will also go and fight this battle. You will be with me. And David was excited, and David was okay about it. But it happened later on in the book of chapter 29 that as they were going, they reached a place, and then, also David had his men. So the Philistine Achish, the king, when he was with the princes of the Philistines, they came and they said, why are these Hebrews coming here? What are you doing with these Hebrews? And they said, David should not go with us. If he goes with us, remember how they praised David and Saul, how he slew in thousands and David tens of thousands. They says, perhaps David will go and they will join forces with Saul and they will fight against us. So the king akamwambia, no, this guy, we have been with him for over 3 years and everything has been good and I don't see any fault with him. They said, no, we cannot go with David. And so it was a news that the king had to go and tell David, David, you're not going to go with us because the princess do not want you to go with us. So David actually alikasirika sana, and he said, I did not want things to happen like this, but they have just happened the way they have happened. So he went away sad. And one thing that I realized is that David had forgotten that the previous chapters that God kept him from killing Saul because he was the anointed. So you can imagine the person who was to become the king of Israel was to fight against Israel itself from the side of the Philistines. And them, the princes refusing and saying David is not going to fight, and they are accusing him, saying watamugeuka. It was actually something that was working for David's good. Why? Because God did not want David to have the blood of the slain of the Israelites on his hand, and he's going to be king. So actually God allowed him to be rejected. He was rejected by the princes of the Philistines from going to battle and to fight for Achish. And David alikasirika sana. And what is happening is that God stopped him. God stopped him from doing what he wanted to do. And God was preserving him because 2 chapters later on, or 3 chapters, he's anointed to be king. You can imagine, because Saul dies in the battle and the Philistines, they kill him. So David is kept by God to be protected because he's going to be king. I think he somehow forgot because he knew he's not supposed to kill the anointed of the Lord. But again here, he almost went with the Philistines to kill the anointed of the Lord. Remember, even his covenant friend was there, Jonathan. All of them died in the same battle. If David would have gone, blood would be on his hands. But God used rejection to put him away from the battle. And God was preserving him as a king for the Israelites. So whatever has been happening in your life, there is a purpose. Sometimes things don't go your way as David wanted things to go his way because God was actually just protecting